There is a quote from Sri Harold Klemp, the spiritual leader of Eckankar, that is the perfect beginning to the story I'm going to share with you. This quote can be found online at Eckankar's Animals Are Soul blog. Sri Harold says, "The best way to listen to our animal companions is to see them as soul. This means recognizing their eternal spiritual nature and knowing that God loves them just as much as God loves you." Now, my daughter Ray was born into the teachings of Eckankar. She has a special relationship with Spirit and the most open and loving heart of anyone I know. People sense this in her, but animals in particular seek her out. And as I was about to learn, she has a very unique way of communicating with animals on a very soul-to-soul basis. This is the story of Ray and the great egret. Now, if you're not familiar, a great egret is a large, white, wading bird commonly found in the warmer climates of the Americas, in marshes and waterways. We lived at the time in Florida, and it was not really unusual to see an egret in general, but seeing one in our housing development was pretty rare. It was a beautiful fall day. I was walking Ray home from school, kindergarten. She was 6 years old. Up ahead, I saw a large white bird perched right on the roof of our house. And as we approached, this bird saw us and flew down and landed right in front of us. The bird walked right up to Ray. They were about the same height. Ray leaned forward and looked directly into this bird's eyes, and for a moment they shared this gaze. And then she turned to me and she said, "Daddy, this bird is hungry. He says that he's injured. A fisherman's boat scared him, and he bumped his wing on a pier. And now he's having a hard time catching food. Can we feed him, Daddy?" Just accepting that my daughter had just completely had this deep, detailed conversation on a soul level with this wild animal, sure, I went inside and I got some shrimp that was left over. And when I brought it up to the bird and tried to feed him, he jumped back. Wouldn't let me do it. "Let me try, Daddy," Ray said. Sure enough, when I handed her the bag, the bird walked right up to her confidently, just inches away, and accepted every morsel gratefully until the bag was completely empty. "Okay, that's all for now," she said. "See you tomorrow." Just like it was on cue, this bird turned and flew away. But it was injured. It had a hard time flying. The next morning, on my way to the garage to go to work, as I opened the door, there stood the egret in my garage. Seeing it was me and not my daughter, he jumped back, but he didn't leave. He just kind of lingered. "Ray," I said, "your friend's here to see you." Ray ran out to see him. They shared another intense gaze. And she said, "Daddy, he's feeling better, but he's still hungry. Do we have anything else?" Sure. I cut up some leftover ham into strips. Once again, she fed him, and he accepted it gratefully and confidently. "Okay, that's all for now. See you this afternoon," she said. And yes, we did. Every day. This went on for 4 days. Every morning in the garage, every afternoon standing on top of my house, waiting for us. And thank goodness I had the presence of mind to snap a picture while all of this was going on. I'd like to share that with you now. So after the 4th day, in the morning, as I opened the door, the egret, there he stood. "Ray," I called, and she went out. I had a bag of food at the ready, but they shared this intense gaze again. And this time, Ray said, "Daddy, he says he's not going to accept any more food. He's all better now. He says he's very thankful and he wants to give me a gift, and I won't be seeing him anymore." No sooner had those words left her lips that this bird turns his neck and plucks a feather out from his tail, big, white, fluffy feather, and delicately laid it deliberately right on the ground in front of Ray's feet. And then he stood up, looked at her for just a moment, and then just easily lifted off and flew away without any effort. Ray and I just stood there looking at that feather on the floor for a long moment. Eventually, she picked it up and she carried it into her bedroom and put it on her nightstand, where it remained her entire childhood as a reminder of this beautiful spiritual event. I'd like to end this story with another quote. This one comes from the Shariat Ki Sugmat, the Holy Scriptures of Eckankar, books 1 and 2, pages 432 and 33. It is in the small events, such as goodness in daily living, being kind to a child, speaking softly to those who can be hurt easily, non-injury to a fellow creature, and the giving of oneself to others who are without the essentials of life, that spiritual unfoldment can be found. Thank you.